It seems like some things just won't go away, even though I've made comments and statements to counter these ridiculous claims that have been made against me. I figured I'm going to start from scratch. You see, not everybody's perfect. And when you actually put yourself in the limelight and put your neck out there, you're going to find that it's pretty easy for people to grab anything and everything that you say and twist it and use it against you. It's pretty easy to sit back on your couch as a supporter of a movement, but not somebody who actually steps out into the spotlight and then criticize somebody for what they say when you don't say anything yourself. We can be online all we want, but I really want the people out there who have asked me, seriously, to step aside as one of the stronger voices of the movement, simply because I made a really dumb mistake in words, really based on emotion more than anything else. I'd like for you to look at what you do for the movement, being quiet. Supportive, sure, great, that's awesome, but quiet. And then judge those who actually get out there and say something to the public and try to push this movement beyond cyberspace. Being a Facebook hound is not going to advance this movement as much as actually getting out there and engaging real-life people. So, let's start where all of this began. About 6 months ago, I was on Neil's show, V-Radio, and the topic came up, which really started getting on my nerves when we started thinking about the implications here, of what if I actually did pull off this fully automated hydroponic farm system with kind of a RBE Venus Project stamp on it as a way to say, see, we're really trying to do stuff, we're actually here to help the world. And some nefarious group showed up and blew it up. Well, that really gets on my nerves for a lot of reasons. Honestly, it should anger a lot of people. The problem with me is that I am a product of my environment and my upbringing, and when I get infuriated inside, it usually comes out through my mouth. And I say things that, typically could be regarded as improper. Well, that's exactly what happened. I started thinking about what would happen, and my initial reaction is that if you're going to get punched, you punch back. And that's a product of my upbringing. That's just how I was raised. And we all have to fight those little demons inside of us that are products of this current system. I never once said I was perfect, nor did I ever say that I was never going to make a mistake and say something improperly. I do find it interesting, though, that I said this 6 months ago, and only now, after some jackass decided to make a really stupid video about it and completely distorted the scope, scale, and context of what was being said, that somehow members of the movement find it necessary to start questioning me compared to the rest of the body of work that I've done that has been very well received and positive by many members of the movement. So, how come 6 months ago this wasn't a big deal when I first said it? How come nobody really cared at that time? So I want you to think about that one for a second as you start to judge. Anyway, back to the context of what was being said. If a nefarious group of people blows up a peaceful building that is feeding thousands of starving people, would you not consider that a direct attack to the people that were supposed to be getting that food? You see, when I start thinking about that, when I start looking at that scenario, it really ticks me off. And so, unfortunately, and I've apologized many times for this through Facebook, but I'm also going to do it again here, I used an extremely shitty choice of words. Eradicate, annihilate. Those are pretty hot-tempered fire button words. Easy to twist and manipulate, which is exactly what happened. So, to deal with them, there are a lot of ways to deal with organizations that use violence. A lot of people would like to think that they could be brought to justice, that they could be captured, tried, and convicted, and put into the penitentiary system. In the case of hypothetically living in an RBE, anybody who committed a violent act would be basically considered mentally ill and would be sent to the hospital to be psychologically evaluated. If you're living in a world of abundance where every necessity of life is there at your fingertips, yet you still commit a nefarious act against other people, there's got to be something wrong with your head. So with that said, I'm going to directly read the Facebook reply that I issued regarding this topic, and then I'm going to put it to bed. Now, if people want to continue talking about it and spreading it around and making it bigger and bigger and bigger, I want you to realize that you're the ones making this video more popular than it ever deserved to be. And if anybody had questions regarding what I said, I'm easy to reach. So those should have come directly to me. But all you're doing is fueling the fire of the trolls that continue to want to attack, debase, twist, and distort anything that we do to fit their psychotic little New World Order, United Nations, this, that, and the other thing, Agenda 21. I don't even know all of the conspiracies that they subscribe to, and I don't care. I'm here to offer solutions, not worry about nefarious cult organizations like the Bilderberg Group and the Rockefellers and all that. Whining about that isn't going to make the world a better place. Anyway, here's my response, and then I'm going to let this thing go. I hope this is adequate enough for the people who actually do care to understand where I'm coming from. And also respect that I've just apologized about twice now, and I'll do it again and again for what I said and the context in which it was conveyed. If you ever look at anything I've ever done, I'm not a violent person. I don't advocate violence. I don't support violence as a means to get anything done. But there is still a part of me that I'm struggling with that was raised to believe that if you're attacked, punch back. And that's the part that came out in that statement, and that is part of me that I have been working on for many years to try and get rid of. This is my reply to that stupid YouTube video everyone seems so fixated on. And yes, I'm annoyed at this. And so if my reply sounds sarcastic with a hint of screw this, then that's why. Venus Project will kill people and work with the UN. Extended version, Douglas Millett. Me. 1. I wanted to work with the UN to get funding to build fully automated food farm systems to help feed the world. Ooh, that sounds totally evil, right? Feeding the world. So once again, these idiots are twisting something to fit their deluded views. Also, the UN never got back to me, and nothing is happening with that anyway, so the point is moot. The UN sucks. They didn't want to do anything. They never got back to me. They never responded. I never got any foothold anywhere. So, if we were part of this nefarious New World Order United Nations agenda to dominate the world, wouldn't you think that I would actually have a shoe-in with the United Nations and be able to just slide right in and do what I wanted? No, it didn't happen. Next. Yes, number 2. Yes, I did say what I said, but look at the context. People can twist my words all they want to fit whatever context they want, but in short, if a peaceful food farming facility is attacked by a nefarious group, then that really pisses me off and fires me up. Thus my reaction and statement, because it's just like attacking the people directly. No different than someone coming up and punching you or someone you know, and I would say in the face. Would you just sit there? I guarantee I'd defend my wife and daughter, so why not apply the same logic to this? Which is what I did. I just used really bad words. Anyway, attack the food, attack the people. I'm not a hippie pacifist. Sorry for those of you who thought I was. And an act like that deserves defense. Ergo my statement. A better choice of words could have been used, definitely, and I've admitted that in the past. But that doesn't change the fact that we cannot just sit back and let violent people attack us and do nothing about it. I cannot undo what I said. I was thinking about millions of people starving because some jackasses blew up a food farming building because they didn't, quote-unquote, like us, and it pissed me off. So, I said what I thought about that. Now, these assholes who made the video want to make it sound like I said we'd attack anyone who disagrees with the Zeitgeist Movement or the Venus Project. Bullshit. No, we won't. That is not what I said at all. My statements were referring to anyone who attacks a peaceful food production facility that is serving innocent people. It's also interesting that they would paint such a large brush over what I said, which should tell you something about them. So these punks can go screw themselves, because all they're doing is desperately trying to paint a picture to fit what they want people to think is true, not what is actually true. And lastly, some idiots make a stupid video with the intent of twisting words and context, and everyone in TZM jumps on it. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people sure as hell did. When I first saw this video a few days ago, because Neil brought it to my attention, it had less than 30 views. I could record myself taking a shit and probably get more than 30 views. I told Neil that we just need to ignore this kind of crap, because if we shine a light on it, it will grow. People need to realize that the more we gave a shit about these idiots who make these videos, the more we validate them and their stupidity. All we're doing is feeding them and giving their videos more and more views. By us. Now, I'm not going to spend any more time on this. I'm going to stop dealing with those idiots and that make this kind of stuff. I'm adopting the ignore policy because it wastes my time otherwise. Does this sound all ad hominem and such? Sure, I'm pretty pissed and these people suck. Screw these morons. They're nothing but a bunch of losers stuck in their mom's basements ranting and raving against something they refuse to understand by making up stories, creating false scenarios, throwing out ridiculous accusations, and completely avoiding any real debate on the science, technology, or social sciences related to everything the RBE is about. Alright? I think I'm done now. I feel better. So I hope you can understand. That's the end of my note, with a little bit of add-ons in there, because I like to add commentary to my own commentary. Isn't that funny? So that's where I stand on this subject. I hope people can accept my apology for the words that I used, and can understand by all of my other actions that I am not out for any kind of violence. I do believe in self-defense. I do believe in protecting humanity's rights to exist on a high level, which is why I advocate the resource-based economy in the first place, is to elevate everyone on the planet to a high standard of living. But at some point, people are going to have to realize that some groups are probably going to become violent towards any idea of a resource-based economy coming into existence. And you've got to mentally prepare yourself for that. I'd like to think that that would never happen, that a peaceful food farming facility would never be attacked. However, I don't put anything past anyone who has a psychotic membrane in their head. Anyway, I hope that's good enough. If it's not, there's not much more I can do about it. There's no way I am going to stop advocating the movement, nor am I going to stop doing what I do, because I'm seriously passionate about the direction that the world needs to go, and I am also fearful of the direction that the world is in right now, and somebody needs to do something. So, take that as it were. Thanks.